Mhm. Quem escolhe? What's my opera house? Nor.
pronouncenames.com.
Nor.
Hello.
Hey Jared, how's your day going?
Good. How's yours going?
It's nice and warm inside. Where are you right
Nice.
now?
I'm over in the Castle Rock area. It's been kind of crazy over here with the snow.
You have to drive for work? Is that part of your job?
Yeah.
Okay. Remind me what you do?
I am in retail, so I go through to different American Eagles and help with like visuals and merchandising and all sorts of stuff.
Cool. So you have to be in the car on a snowy day.
Yep.
Very cool. Hopefully.
I don't mind it.
And it looks like you're in a Jeep Wrangler, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind it. I actually kind of like it.
Very cool. Hey, Bob. You got that mute on right now.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
How you doing?
Doing great. Bob, have you joined us before?
Maybe I had sat in on one via Zoom maybe like 9 months ago, and it
Okay.
might have been this one. I had looked at a couple around town. I'm up in North Denver. I was planning on going in person today, but with the weather the way it is, I decided to just hop on the Zoom call.
That's what we're doing today.
Yep.
Zoom it is. And then we
But I
have-
definitely want to. One of my goals for 2022 was to get back into it, but I want to do it in person. I need the pressure of in person versus like doing it via Zoom. So I mean, you guys are doing it back in person, right?
we do a hybrid. So we meet
Oh.
at Enterprise in Rhino, and the conference room has a TV with the camera. And I'm there. That's where I work out of. And
Okay.
so handful of us meet on Zoom, and handful meet in person as well.
Gotcha.
And when there's a snowy day, we have the ability to still have a meeting, but on Zoom only. Cool. And then we have, was it Tara? Is that right?
Hi, yes.
How'd you hear about us?
Eric, who
Oh,
I'm
sweet.
just meeting now for the first time too. Hi, Eric, nice to meet you. He posted about it in our work Slack, and so here I am.
You are a Amazon employee.
Yes.
I would assume. What do you do for Amazon?
I work in their education and training and certification area. So I help people get AWS certified.
Oh, nice. Okay. My companies I manage, we use AWS infrastructure, and I'm hiring a new developer, and he's going to need to know AWS. So I'm probably going to have him get certified or something. So
Yeah.
I might be in touch with you as well. But thanks for joining. We'll do some intros in a little bit as well. And looks like we have another guest. I don't know what your first name is. K. Maynali?
Yes, Haley invited me. It's Krishna.
Krishna. How do you want to rename yourself in Zoom, or I can do that for you?
I do not know how to do that. Let me
Oh, I'll
see.
teach you. So go to your
Oh, there you
screen
go.
and then hit the traffic sign and rename.
Okay.
Okay. So Krishna.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to get started. My name is Nick Campion. I am your Toastmaster for today. Today's event, the theme is open house, where the goal of today is to have Eric, he's going to present on what it means to be part of Toastmasters, how it works, and we can also get some questions, but this is also going to be our normal meeting format as well. I'm going to share in the chat a bunch of links that we use for our meeting that the guests want to click through. There is for the guests, a sign in. So if you can please sign in for the meeting, that'd be great. There's a feedback form that we use to give feedback to our speakers. There's the agenda. And then for any of the people that have roles, if they want to use our tools to do those roles, you can use that last link. All right. Let me get the agenda. So for today, as I mentioned, it's an open house theme. I'm your Toastmaster, and I have a joke for you guys to start off. And the joke is, how do trees access the internet? How do trees access the internet? They log in. And if you want to unmute yourself and laugh, that'd be great. That makes this a lot better. Awesome.
That was a good one. Very punny.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Google told me that last night when I went to bed. Part of my Google Home routine to tell me a joke, and that was the joke from last night. So I was inspired to share that with you guys. Next part of the meeting is our guest introductions. So I'm going to have our guests just name what you do, why you're here. So I'm going to start off with, let's see, we have Bob here. So Bob, if you want to start off.
My name is Bob Schuessler. I work in a sales and marketing position for a company that sells essential oils and flavors to cannabis manufacturers. I've been doing it for about 4 years. Previous to that, I didn't have any sales experience. I was a television engineer. I traveled and around the Western US doing live television events. And so I made a transition into a completely different field. And one of the reasons that I wanted to get into Toastmasters is obviously to build confidence in public speaking. It's never been a strong suit for me, and it was never really a tool I needed to have until I had this current job. And 4 years in, I'm finally doing something about it. So,
Awesome. And did you find this on Toastmasters International or somewhere
yeah.
else?
Yeah, I went to the webpage and then just found the map for the local area.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining. Next up, I'm going to have Krishna. Do you want to do a quick intro?
Yes, thank you. So my name is Krishna Manali. I'm a commercial interior designer, and Haley invited me, so thank you, Haley. And kind of as I advance in my career, I have to do more and more presentations and public speaking. I can't avoid it anymore. So that's why I'm here, is to just kind of grow personally and professionally.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And then Tara, if you want to introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, my name's Tara. I'm just going to say now because I saw there was an counter. So now I'm just like thinking about that. So that's
Good. It's working.
So I just moved to Denver maybe 4 months ago, 5 months ago. Wow, not that long ago, but longer than I'm thinking actually. I don't know very many people, so I thought it would be a fun way to network, to get to know the folks in the area. Many moons ago, I was part of the Toastmasters back in Hoboken, in New Jersey, nearby New York, and so I thought I might relive the glory days, as it were.
Awesome. Well, welcome back. And last, Jared, I know you're not almost a member, but not an official member, so I guess I still need to treat you as a guest. If you want to do a quick intro, that'd be great.
Yeah. Hello everyone. My name's Jared. I joined Toastmasters. Or I'm about to officially join Toastmasters. This is like my, I don't know, fourth, fifth meeting. And I'm just trying to get better with public speaking, speaking in crowds, and it's like not saying the ums, the uhs, which I'm currently doing. But yeah, that's currently what I'm working on. And I am an area manager for the Colorado market in retail. So yeah, I do a big variety of things.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Jared. Before we get in the next part, I just want to share my screen with everyone to understand the agenda, especially for the guests. This is how our meetings are run. We have different rules. So we started off with the introductions. We're going to go into our tweet response. Then we're going to go into role introductions. And then we have our speaker portion of the event and an evaluator for each speaker. If we have time, we're going to do table topics, which I realize we don't have a table topic person today. Jerry is not here. Anybody want to step up and be a table topics, or I can do it? Doesn't matter.
Hey everyone, this is Anoop.
Anoop,
How are you?
doing great. I'll introduce you in a second, Anoop.
Sure.
Okay. And then at the end of the meeting, we do a vote counting for who we think is the best speaker as well. So I just want to give you guys an overview of the event for today. If there's no one that wants to be the table topics, I can do that.
Nick, I have some questions that are in my notebook here that I can use too.
Okay.
So I think
Tim,
between
I'll
the
have
two of
you-
us, we can probably cover it all.
Cool. That's awesome. All right. And then we have another guest, Anoop, who used to be a member of Downtown Speakeasy. Anoop, you want to give a quick intro?
Yeah, so hey guys, I'm Anoop. I'm from India and I had been a member of Downtown Speakeasy Club from like 2017, and I continued like till 3 years, like 2019 and like 2020 until the pandemic started, and then everybody shifted to work from home. Yeah, and I'm looking to get back into it again, hopefully soon, and would like to know what are you guys all up to.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming back.
Thank you.
So we're going to quickly go into tweet responses, and we're a little short on time. So I'm just going to do tweet responses for members. And today's theme is open, related to the open house. So what I'm looking for, a quick tweet response of what does having an open mindset mean to you? Or you can give an example of like how you showed being open to something or someone in life. A lot of different ways you can take this, but I'll start off on how I show openness. At times when I get cut off while driving, I have to remember like there might be some history on that person. They might be having a bad day, or they just didn't notice. It might have been directed towards me. So having an open mind on other people and their situation is one way I kind of show openness. Moving on, I'm going to let Tim give a tweet response.
So having an open mindset to me means being able to quickly and easily rethink things and stop myself from creating a mindset that is fixed. So that's what having an open mindset means to me, rethinking things.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I'm going to let Haley go.
Sure, thanks, Nick. So having an open mindset to me means leading my life with curiosity and asking questions and having no expectations when I go into something. And on top of all of that, starting or trying new things. Sorry, I'm nervous because Krishna's here.
You're doing great.
But yeah, also trying new things, leading with curiosity and having no expectations.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Crystal, what is your tweet response?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm off camera because my battery is low on my MacBook, so I'm trying to save it for my speech. So yeah, I'll be in and out of it. But yes, for this portion, okay, let me see if I can. What does it mean to be open-minded? For me, it is being open to ask questions and not going to conclusion right away. For every situation and for every interaction with people, I observe how much we already have our own conclusion about the people or situation. So for me, I try to be mindful, not try to make conclusion, but to be open to ask, open to question, open to hear, and being in the neutral position.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Last up, Eric.
All right, I'm going to throw out a quote from Aristotle. He said, "It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it." So for me, being open-minded means that I can seek to understand other people's points of view without necessarily accepting them as being true or being the correct point of view.
Awesome, great response. Now we move on to our role introductions. To start off, we have our counter and we have Tim.
Thank you, Nick. I will be listening to everybody's speeches and speaking today, paying attention for ahs, ums, and other crutch words and sounds that people use. And I will give a report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Tim, I also have you listed as grammarian and word of the day. Is that something you can handle?
That is something I can handle as well. So in addition to my and counting, I will be listening for interesting turns of phrase, and I will do my best to give a report on that as well at the end of the meeting. Boy, I didn't realize I had so many roles today.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
starting to rethink the roles because you also are an evaluator as well. If I can help out.
No, it's fine. It's just for those who are new or guests, we usually like to spread these roles around a little bit. So you get to hear somebody else's insights and voice. But today you'll be hearing a lot from me. And hopefully I'm up to the task.
Tim, if you don't mind, I'm actually going to do the counter because I feel with giving an evaluation and counting for ahs and ums can be difficult. So
Sure.
I'm gonna be the counter so you can focus on your evaluation.
Sorry, Tim, we had a couple people drop out at the last minute here, so we had to shuffle roles around a little bit.
Okay.
I'm honored that you think I could accomplish all those things, but Nick, that's just fine. I will focus on being the grammarian and evaluating my good friend Crystal's speech.
Okay, awesome. Next up is Haley, who's going to be the timer for today.
Yes, so I will time everyone as you speak. Table topics are supposed to be 1 to 2 minutes. So I'll change my background to green when you reach 1 minute, and then yellow at 1.5 minutes, and red at 2 minutes. And then the speeches, I think, will be around 5 to 7 minutes. So it'll be 5 at the 5, 6, and 7 minute marks. And evaluations will be 2 to 3 minutes.
Thank you, Haley. Just to confirm, Crystal and Eric, are your speeches 5 to 7 minutes?
Mine will be 6 to 8 minutes.
Okay. And Crystal?
Yes,
silence.
I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think I would try to stay within 5 to 7 minutes. Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. Circling back to Tim, what was the word of the day for today? Did we have one?
I don't have. So keeping with your theme of openness, Nick, the word of the day is appreciation.
Appreciation. Okay.
To
And-
appreciate.
That is correct. For the guests, the word of the day is a word that we try and incorporate in our speeches or during table topics.
We would appreciate it if you did that.
Yeah, we would definitely appreciate it. So that is the word of the day for today. Awesome. We'll move on to our speaker portion of the meeting. We have two speakers. One is Eric, and the other one's Crystal. They are evaluated by Haley for Eric and then Tim for Crystal. So to start off, we have Haley giving an introduction to Eric.
Thank you, Nick. So Eric is our Vice President of Education. He's a pretty big deal here. And today he's going to share all about what Toastmasters is and how he got into it, what his path has been like, and what benefits it provides to the members. His goals are to engage and connect with the audience and provide a clear and succinct overview of the Toastmasters program, and to communicate how Toastmasters has benefited himself and others. So everyone, please welcome Eric.
Thank you, Haley, for that great introduction. Let me share my screen really quick so everybody can see the presentation here. All right, everybody can see that, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. So thank you so much for coming today, everybody. All of our guests and all of our members, we're glad to have you here. Today, I'm going to be sharing some information about Toastmasters. Now, this presentation comes to us from Toastmasters International, but I'm going to kind of ad-lib a little bit and add some downtown speakeasy flavor to it, just to give you some more information about our club specifically. So first off, what is Toastmasters? Toastmasters is a worldwide nonprofit educational organization. We have clubs all over the globe. Just pretty much everywhere you go, there's going to be a Toastmasters club nearby. Now, Toastmasters is usually thought of as being for public speaking, but there's also a lot of other benefits that you can gain from being part of Toastmasters. And I'm going to be talking about a few of those today. Speaking of the benefits, there's a lot of great things on this slide, like improving your public speaking skills and building leadership skills. But I would like to share with you my personal story, if that's okay. So back in 2019, I was at Fort Meade in Maryland doing some work for the Army. And during that time, I started interviewing for jobs. Now, I got a lot of interviews at all these different companies, but I wasn't getting any offers. And I quickly realized that the reason was I was doing a terrible job at presenting myself. I was stuttering and stammering. I was tripping over my words. I was having trouble maintaining eye contact. It was just, I was having a difficult time really showing these employers what I can do. So I decided to join a local Toastmasters club. And after just a couple of months of participating in this club, I started to see vast improvement in myself, and I started actually getting offers from these companies. And then finally, I got the big one. I got an interview with Amazon, specifically Amazon Web Services. And if any of you work in the tech industry, you know that those big companies, those big tech companies like Amazon, Netflix, Facebook, they are notoriously difficult to interview at and to even receive an offer from. My interview with Amazon went on for 6 hours with 5 different people. Now, I can tell you that after participating in Toastmasters for a couple of months, I did a much, much better job at presenting myself during this interview. I was able to speak more personably with the interviewers. I was able to maintain eye contact a lot better. And when I had to write code on the whiteboard, I felt more confident about what I was doing. And it worked out for me. I was able to get an offer from Amazon, and then I moved out to Denver, and that's where I work now. So I have Toastmasters to thank for my lifestyle right now. What is the Toastmasters Club experience like? Well, as Nick mentioned earlier, we're running this open house today, just like one of our regular meetings, so that you can see exactly how our structure goes. You'll be able to get hands-on learning by doing speeches, just like myself and Crystal are doing today. You'll have chances to do impromptu speaking, like you'll see later on with table topics. You'll have opportunities to lead and take on roles at different meetings, like how Haley is doing our timing today, and Tim is doing our counter and grammar today. You'll also be able to receive feedback from your peers, which you'll see later on in this meeting as well. This feedback is designed to build you up and give you positive support in your journey and growth. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later as well. You also have access to mentorship. So if you'd like a little bit more one-on-one support, we can facilitate that for you. Now, Toastmasters has a learning program called Pathways. Pathways is little short lessons that are pretty easy to go through and digest that work on specific skills in communication and public speaking. Now you get your first pathway included with your membership, and then you can add other pathways later on if you so choose. These pathways programs are at your own pace, and there's a whole bunch of them that you can choose from. On the left side of the screen here, you'll see the 5 core competencies that Pathways is built upon. And then on the right side, you'll see the 11 paths that are available to you. Personally, I'm working on the persuasive influence pathway currently, and I also have lined up the team collaboration pathway. These are to help me because I am interested in becoming a team leader at my place of work. And so I want to be able to work on my collaboration skills and working with teams.
Eric,
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I can't see the slides changing. I don't know if I'm the only one having
Yeah,
that.
I was about to say that. I thought you just had this really simple slide for your whole presentation, but we're just stuck on slide 1.
How did that happen?
Something froze. Do you want to stop share screen and try again?
Let me try that again.
Still a great speech without the slides. I'm retaining.
I'd be willing to blame Amazon Web Services for this problem.
Yeah. Okay, we're on slide
Let's run on
7.
AWS. So.
Do you want to practice going to the next slide? Okay, now it advanced or went back to 6. Okay.
Okay, cool. Okay, so here's the 11 pathways that I was just talking about. I'll give everybody like 2 seconds to look at that, and then I'll go on to the next slide. All right, so I mentioned earlier that we do an evaluation process. So whenever you do a speech, you'll also have an evaluator to evaluate your speech. In the Pathways programs, they have specific evaluation forms that you can use, that you can give to your evaluator. These evaluation forms have the specific goals of the speech that you're working on so that your evaluator can give you more pointed feedback. You also can just have your evaluator give you a general feedback if you would like. That's totally up to you. But there is this structure involved with Pathways to help you on specific goals if you prefer. Toastmasters also has a lot of other resources that are available to you. There's the Toastmasters magazine. They have speech contests that they do every year. We have an international convention that's often held here in Denver, where Toastmasters is headquartered. We have district conferences where just a few clubs get together and do certain things. And then there's also a bunch of other things on the Toastmasters website. Feel free to check that out if you'd like. So what does it cost to get involved with Toastmasters? Well, it's pretty cheap, honestly. Toastmasters does their memberships in 6-month periods. And for our club specifically, that total is $60 for the 6-month period. So it's about $10 per month. There is a one-time $20 new membership fee if you've never been a member of Toastmasters before. So if you'd like to get started, please let us know. All you have to do is fill out our guest sign-in page. You can scan this QR code with your phone, or you can go to this website here All the instructions will be automatically emailed to you, and then you can just follow those to get started. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or Nick. Our contact information is in that email that you'll receive, so you'll be able to have that. Thank you so much.
Round of applause for Eric. Great job. I was just so engaged by your words. I just thought the slides were just there just to look at for that. The main slide was just, that was it. So we're going to take about a minute or two to give Eric feedback for our guests. In the links that I sent, there is a link that says feedback. If you feel comfortable, you're welcome to give feedback to Eric. How it works is the Google form, you select the speaker's name. So his name's Eric. Find that same email address that's underneath it. And then if there's anything you want to give feedback on, things you did awesome, things you think you might improve on, or you can just keep it positive and just say he's awesome as well. And this is kind of like a really important part of being part of Toastmasters, is getting the feedback on your speeches. So we always want to make time for this part of the meeting.
I appreciate all feedback.
Yeah. I'll give you guys about, and if you need more time, you can always leave the tab open and finish your feedback later. But I want to give about a minute to give Eric as much feedback as you can. Say 30 more seconds. And what's great about this feedback form, it goes automatically to that speaker. Hence the reason why we need to select the right fields and the email address. It's on the back end and will automatically go to that person. Okay, we will move on to our next speaker, which is going to be Crystal. And Crystal's evaluator is Tim. So let's give a round of applause to Tim for his introduction of Crystal.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nick. This is going to be Crystal's second speech, so everybody be gentle with her, but I'm sure she's going to do a wonderful job. She's going to be focusing on the structure of her speech in particular. She wants to have a clear beginning, middle, and end. It's going to be about 7 minutes. Is that right? 6 to 7 minutes. And I think without any further ado, my friend Crystal.
Thank you, Tim. Hello, Toastmaster, and welcome guests. Recently, over the holidays, I had a chance to catch up with my friends all over the world through WhatsApp and Kakao Talk. And we were able to connect and to share our past year's life stories. And I was very happy. But one particular friend in UK had a challenging holiday season due to his wife's mental health condition. And just around that time, also, I saw in the news, as probably all of you saw the news, the fire we had in Boulder County that destroyed the whole neighborhood completely. And that made me to think what kind of impact such trauma might have on people's mental health. And I started evaluating my own fear about mental health and also my ignorance. There are so many things that I do not know. And I questioned, why is mental health such a challenge? Not to say that physical health is not a challenge, as we have observed over the last 2 years because of COVID. But what I have learned based on my research is that there's a stigma around mental health that makes it very challenging for all of us to put arms around it and be more open and to progress more. What I really appreciated the information out there, but we have a lot more to learn. So today I'd like to unpack what stigma is and its impact on mental health patients and their families and how we can change it. According to Webster's dictionary, the definition of stigma is a set of negative and often unfair beliefs that a society or group of people have about something. And in this case, mental health. Usually it starts with a set of prejudice, that is a negative attitudes or beliefs. And it is when we judge or feel hostile toward a person or group or their presumed characteristics. And we all know throughout human history how we have treated people with mental health conditions. And the other aspect of stigma is discrimination. So if prejudice is our thoughts, is our unfair beliefs, discrimination is an actual negative response based on the negative attitudes and beliefs we have about mental health. So discrimination can be covert or systemic, both intentional or unintentional. Now that we have defined what stigma is, what are the factors that contribute to stigma on mental health? What comes to my mind is any opinions, thoughts, talks, actions that are based on our own prejudice, our ignorance, lack of information, or fear and discrimination. So can you imagine how our perceptions would change about blonde-haired people if we were to constantly see some kind of breaking news on how blonde hair or blue hair, black hair people are dangerous? So this is how sometimes our way of thinking and attitudes are formed based on the news media or public communication. We're just bombarded with same information, and before even we question and be open-minded, we automatically form conclusion or opinion or negative opinion about a certain group of people or something. A simple thing like a negative word can impact on people with mental health condition. It may make them to avoid proper treatment or seek out for help. And the stigma can profoundly change how stigmatized people feel about themselves and also others view them. They may be worried that if others learn about their condition and react negatively, not just strangers, but their own family members and friends. So because of this stigma, the impact of it on the mental health patients, that this can lead them to a great deal of energy to keep their problems a secret. So I have talked about why mental health is so challenging because of stigma and some of the factors that contribute to stigma based on prejudice and discrimination. And lastly, what is most important to me is how are we going to stamp out the stigma from mental health? And this is the strategy I like to talk to you about. I believe it starts with education, educating ourselves about mental health. Just as physical health, we need to educate ourselves because mental health is not just something we're thinking out in the air. Our brain is also part of our body. And if the brain, the physical presence, if it is traumatized, then it can also lead into mental health condition. It's a very complicated situation. The more we educate ourselves, the more we become equipped to be open-minded about it. And as you know, there are so many information, so many educational resources online these days. So I like to suggest all of us to educate, read, and also if opportunity arise, speak up against stigma and to also share with family and friends and colleagues to also raise their awareness and educate them and to also understand and be aware of our own attitudes about it. And if there's any judgments within us, I would like to encourage all of us to be more open-minded and to support organizations that also fights for the stigma on mental health. But most of all, I think just as all human connections, these people, people with mental health conditions really need kindness from all of us, compassion. So I hope that going forward from today, that you will remember, looking back, one message, if you can take, is to be open-minded and appreciate all people suffering from all kinds of things in this life. And before making any conclusion, that we will start with openness, education, and a simple act of kindness to start unpacking and reducing the level of stigma on mental health. Thank you.
Round of applause for Crystal. Great job. We're now going to give feedback to Crystal on her speech. I'm going to use the feedback form again. Match up her name and that email to the next section with the email address. I'll give about a minute. I don't think we're going to have time for table topics. So we're going to go into our evaluations. And if we do have extra time, we can do table topics, but Haley, after these feedback forms are submitted, I'll jump into you next. And we have Carol. Welcome to the meeting.
Sorry, I was renaming myself as guest.
We just finished up our speeches and we're going to go into evaluations. So that's where we're at in the meeting right now.
Thank you for allowing me to join you.
How did you hear about us?
I was put in touch with you by our district club growth director, Ann.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes.
So I
Connecting
thought
the
I'd say,
names.
we
Yes.
just got out of our meeting, so I thought I'd come over and see you guys. So thanks for being so welcoming.
Cool, definitely. I'll give about another 30 seconds on feedback. here for Crystal, just to give you an idea how our meetings work. Here's some links that we share out at the beginning of every meeting. You can see we have a feedback form that we use to give feedback to our presenters. We do it all on Google Forms and they get it directly sent to them. We have a sign-in sheet. You can see what the agenda is for today. And then we also have this tools website to do the different roles as well. So if you want to check those out, that'd be good as well. Let's move on to our evaluations. And our first evaluator is going to be Haley giving a evaluation of Eric.
Thank you, Nick. And thank you, Eric, for set my timer myself. Thank you for sharing your speech today. I really appreciate all of the information that you shared with us. I know you practiced the speech a couple of times, and I think that you have taken the feedback you received to heart. And I think you've accomplished the goals that you set out to accomplish. I think the first one was connecting with the audience, and I felt connected to you through your personal story. I feel like that's one of the most impactful ways to connect with your audience, is to share your personal experience. So I found that to be really effective. I also think that you made really great eye contact, and that's really difficult to do over Zoom, but you did a really great job. I know, I think you were working on that, or you just had an awareness of that. So that was really great. And then also challenging on Zoom can be the gestures. And I know in person, you were really great at gestures and using your body with your speech and your hands. And I saw you do that a little bit. I saw your hands moving a little bit, but I know it doesn't have the full impact over Zoom, but I still think that's one of your strengths that you always bring into your speeches. I think another area of success was how you handle the technical difficulty that can really throw people off sometimes and interrupt your progress in your speech, but you handled it really gracefully and just kept it on going. So I applaud you for that, because that can be difficult to get thrown off and then keep on track. I think one potential area of improvement would be vocal variety, but I think overall you pace yourself really well and you focus on your breathing. So that really helps, but maybe vocal variety could be something in the future. But I've seen you do it, so I know you know how to do it. And then I would have also liked to hear a little bit more about your current place in Toastmasters today and your role as the VP of Education, and what your pathways, I forgot which one you chose, but how that has helped you make progress through the Toastmasters program. That would have been interesting to hear about. But overall, I think you did a great job, and you're always really good at connecting with your audience and taking feedback to heart. So again, thank you for sharing with us today. I really enjoyed your speech.
Round of applause for Haley. Great evaluation.
Thanks, Haley. I appreciate it.
Next is going to be Tim and his evaluation of Crystal's speech.
Thank you, Nick. Crystal, I thought you did a wonderful job. I know this was your second speech, and I sensed a little bit of nervousness, but you got through it, and I think you accomplished your stated goal of having a good structure. There was a clear beginning, there was a clear middle, and there was a clear end. I thought the topic that you chose was a good one. I was a little bit confused whether you were going to be speaking about stigma in general or the stigma about mental health. I think by the end of it, it was clear that you were talking about the stigma of mental health, but at the end of your beginning, your introduction, that was a little bit unclear to me. And I was a little bit unclear where you were going to go. And one way to sort of solve that, and you did it very effectively at the end of your speech, but at the end of your beginning, giving us a little bit of a roadmap that not only states clearly what you're going to be talking about, but gives us some sense of maybe the 3 points or however many points you're going to hit. That way, as we're listening, we can focus not on sort of where's she going, but more on exactly what you're saying. In the middle of your speech where you were talking about stigma and the stigma of mental health, I thought you did a very good job by first focusing on the definition of things. That's a very good technique, just focusing on the words themselves and giving us some sense of what they mean and how they get applied. I thought that was very good. I liked the way that you sort of transition from talking about stigma to talking about the stigma of mental health by focusing on how thoughts can become discrimination. That's a very sticky subject. I think you handled it well. Other people I know, I've heard other people speak and you get sort of stuck in that kind of a transition, but I thought you handled that very, very well. Going quickly to your conclusion, I thought you, at the outset of your conclusion, you sort of restated where you had been and then laid out a couple of other points that you wanted to get to about how you deal with and stamp out stigma. It seemed a little bit rushed to me, and in particular, you raised, for example, you raised the idea of compassion as being one of the possible tools for that, and for me personally, that's such a rich word that I thought maybe got a little bit of a short shrift in your conclusion. But going back to what your original goals were, it was very clear that you were in the conclusion, and that was just part of your conclusion. So you did a very, very good job with that. If you were to give this speech again, tightening down a little bit on what your focus was going to be, and then giving that initial roadmap, hitting those points, and then tightening up that conclusion and not sort of adding new ideas, but maybe taking some of the ideas that you use today and putting those into the body would make a much more effective speech. In terms of your actual speaking, I thought your vocal variety was good. It's something that I think you can work on. Using it to greater effect. There were parts of it that I thought were a little bit flat. You used your hands a lot. As Haley noted, sometimes in Zoom it's very hard to know what to do with your hands. You flail them around. There was a lot of movement. I didn't find it distracting, but others might disagree with you. But it's just something to keep an eye on. You had really great eye contact. You always seem to do that. And I really appreciate that, because I'm looking down at notes and I'm always looking off and looking for the door and all kinds of other things. But you keep riveted right on that little dot, and I think that's really good. The last thing I want to say is, and it's the one thing that I really look forward to in all of your speeches, and you used it a little bit at the end, Crystal. You have the most beautiful smile, and it's so disarming, and it's such, it just your whole face lights up, and I really love when you use it, and you flashed it at the end, and I could see it at other points it wanted to come out. My advice on that, and this is just me being selfish, don't be afraid to use it, because it's a real great tool, weapon, whatever you want to call it. So with that, I hope that's all helpful, and I can't wait to hear your next speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
There's the smile. There it is, everybody. You saw it.
Actually, I wrote this speech right before the meeting. I was so busy all week, I couldn't prepare. So I did not want to back out because I made a commitment. So I wanted to still speak. So I'm sorry for unpreparedness, and I will do a better job preparing next speech.
Oh,
and
but,
thank you for
use it
your
as a
feedback.
draft. I think the bones of a good speech are there, and you know, with more time, you can tighten up the ideas and really, I think, more effectively use that structure that is already there, as well as your interest. I mean, it was very clear that you're very interested in this topic, means a lot to you, and those are great things to build on. And this is, as Eric and Nick have been saying, this is the environment to do it and to get the feedback that Toastmasters provides. That's
right.
That's a plug for all you guests here today. That's
All right.
That's our little ad.
Thank you.
So if you sign up for Downtown Speakeasy and you get Tim as evaluator, you get evaluations like that. From the heart.
Thank you, Nick.
And make sure to smile. So we're out of time for table topics, fortunately, for today. We're gonna move on to our other reports. And we're gonna have our timers report from Haley.
Yes, thank you. Eric, I forgot to change my background, but I was timing you and I took 40 seconds off from the PowerPoint delay, but you were 8 minutes and 10 seconds total. Crystal, you were 9 minutes and 4 seconds, so a little bit over. My evaluation was 2:46, and Tim, your evaluation was 5 minutes and 25 seconds.
All right, round of applause for Haley. Next up is our grammarians report. Tim, what do you have?
There were two people that I really focused on. Eric, Haley already mentioned this. The way that you handled the snafu was just remarkable to behold. You did it with humor, and you fixed it, and you kept moving. Haley, I thought in your evaluation in particular, you spoke with great clarity, and I've noticed this over the last couple of weeks that you know, you've in your time here, you've really become much more comfortable offering your opinions about things, and being very specific about, you know, what you're hearing and really your thoughts, and I want to applaud that. I think in my rather lengthy evaluation of Crystal, I think you heard some of the things that I thought about there. But overall, I think everybody did a very, very good job. I heard Haley use appreciate at least once, and I heard Nick use appreciate a couple of times. So good job there too.
Awesome. Appreciate that report. Now I'm going to move on
to
the odd counters report. Crystal, I have 8 ums, 5 so's, 4 ands. Tim, you talked a lot, so but you have 16 ums, 10 ands, 2 buts, 1 double clutch, and 1
winner and still champion, I think.
Yeah. Haley, 8 ums, 1 so, 1 but. Then you had 6 I thinks. And my recommendation with an evaluation, you could probably get rid of that, just state it. If you use it a couple of times, but I feel like it was being repetitive and might want to try and address that instead of saying I think. It's just, it is what it is. Eric, 2 ums, 3 so's, 1 but, 1 you know. That's all I got. So great job. I'm going to launch in Zoom our voting. We didn't have table topics, so don't worry about that. But if you can vote for best evaluator and best speaker for today. Oh, and probably Eric and Crystal, you don't have ability to see it. You just want to message me in the chat your votes. That would be great. As those are coming in, we have a couple more minutes. I'll open up to questions from any of the guests about Toastmasters, about Downtown Speakeasy. anyone have any questions? Silence means no questions, I believe. Or I'll give you a minute to think of a question if you have one.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
So do you volunteer for the roles, or they're assigned when there aren't enough people, or how does that work?
Great question. All right, let me share my screen. Okay. We have this awesome spreadsheet. Eric, he assigns roles. You let him know if you're going to be absent, so we mark you absent, not assign you. But the goal is we rotate Toastmaster role, so everybody gets a chance to do that, and then speaking as well. With the current club, we have about, what are we at now? 7 members. So you can be speaking once a month, which is awesome. Getting a lot of practice public speaking. So you're not feeling like you have to speak so often. We have once a month, just a table topics meeting where all we do is just improv public speaking, where we have a question you have to answer or a scene that you have to improvise. So that's our table topics meeting that we have once a month. But in terms of assign roles, it's the VPE does it. If you have requests, you just talk to the VPE and then he can make those requests happen. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions? Cool. But yeah, we send out an email every week about who's presenting for the next 3 weeks. We used to in the past do like 8 weeks in advance, but we found out that doing that far in advance, people change and things come up in life, and it's just hard for the VPE to constantly update. So it's better to kind of keep a short-term time frame. Okay. All right, we're almost out of time. And we have one thing left, which is the votes.
I have one question.
Yeah, go for it.
I was curious if you're, with the schedule that you have now and everybody gives a 5 to 7 minute speech once a month, how much prep time do you guys generally find you need to prepare yourself for that?
That definitely depends on the individual.
Absolutely.
I'll speak on myself. I usually need a day to write out the speech and then a couple of days to practice. And it kind of depends on what your goal is. Is it to be a fully polished speech that it's like all ready to go, or you wrote it, practiced a couple of times, and now you just kind of like want to present, get feedback, and iterate. So it depends on like how polished you want the speeches, because I definitely feel the more you practice, the better it will be, and that's just the amount of time you have in your life to put towards it.
Okay, yeah, I was just trying to get a general sense of like what the people felt the time commitment was. Obviously, I mean, getting started, I'm not going to be shooting for polished, but just,
I would say
prep time and that kind of thing.
Definitely like a couple hours to write out or outline the speech, and then a couple hours practicing the speech. But what I would say is a good start.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
And if I can add to that too, sometimes with your speeches, you may not be looking to make it a nice polished speech. You may just be working on one small specific goal. And so you don't have to worry about, making your speech this whole grand presentation. It can just be one little thing that you're working on.
Okay.
Another thing that I like to do is sometimes repeat speeches. That helps with, I don't have to rewrite new speeches, and I can incorporate feedback that I've gotten previously from giving that same speech.
Good advice. Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
Sorry for going over. Any other questions? No. Okay. I guess if you haven't, please make sure you sign the sign-in form. In that form will be our email address. So if you have any questions about joining, please let us know. But as a guest, you're welcome to come back as many times as you want. And when you're ready to join, then you just fill out the application, send us some money, and then we'll get you onboarded and get you some roles assigned to you. Okay, now the winners. Drum roll for best evaluator goes to Haley. Haley, great job. Haley, where's a coaster? I usually have a coaster by me. We have these, here we go. we have these awesome downtown speakeasy coasters that we hand out for winners. Best speaker, drum roll please, goes to Eric. Great job, Eric. Here you go, here's your coaster. We have these coasters live in person, so if you show up in person, you can get a coaster to take home with you. That's all I have. Eric, did you have anything else?
I just want to thank everybody for coming today.
Cool.
Appreciate you being here.
Thank you for all our guests. We really appreciate it. It was an awesome atmosphere to have here today. We'll be back at Enterprise next week and also Zoom as well. So how you ever want to join, both are perfectly awesome. So we will be doing this again next week and hope to see you guys there.
Yes,
Cool.
nice to meet
Thank
you
you.
all.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your help there, Nick. Thank you.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Everyone.